Hello, beautiful, 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 beautiful black people. I hope that this day has been a beautiful, beautiful day for you and all of your wonderful, 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 intelligent black loved ones. My beautiful, beautiful black people, know this that for the last 4 years or so, for the last 4 years. And I am going to quote his name. He's a white boy. He was a white boy. And his name is George Orwell. Orwell. George Orwell. And he said, and I am quoted, the further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. My black brothers and sisters, I am a truth teller. I always have been, I am now, and I always will be. It has caused me frustration and disappointment in the many decades that I have been on this planet. It caused me some problems when I was out there working professionally as an engineer for 45 or so years. And now and then, on some of my podcasts, it will get me some very, very hateful and negative comments. Nevertheless, I will persist. The further a society or a person drifts from the truth, the more it slash he slash she will hate those that speak the truth. Do you agree? And I hope you do. For those white folks who have considered genocide when the COVID-19 attack on black folks wasn't enough. For those white folks who have considered genocide when the COVID-19 attack on black folks was not enough. It is not enough. It is likened to cocoa dancing. And I spell cocoa, C-O-C-O. It is likened to cocoa dancing. I imagine hate feels like cocoa dancing. And hopefully, by the end of this, you will understand what I'm talking about. Remember the dance student Coco Hernandez? She was in a 1980 television show that was called Fame. Do you remember that show? Are you old enough to remember that show? Coco did not comb her hair. She didn't care about anything else but dancing. And in every third episode of that show, Fame, the producers would write a scene that required Coco to bust every available dance move in the dance room at that fictional studio at a New York City high school. And I will share this with you. I know someone that when she was a little girl, she loved Coco Hernandez. She would wear all of the hair barrettes, ribbons, and rubber bands. Sometimes we would help her unbraid her pigtails so it could fly free, Coco style. We would blast the radio and watch as she climbed her frail frame onto the bed, her hair flowing in the breeze of the ceiling fan, and literally danced like nobody was watching. I've never seen anything freer than that. Freer. I've never seen anything freer than that. Until I met white folks. Believe you me, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters, black folks, people that look like me, are not free. I am referring to literal bondage of slavery's chains. Jim Crow, remember Jim Crow? Subjugation of white supremacy, oppression. And I am talking the existential, intangible feeling of unapologetic, reckless abandon. In my opinion, there's one great privilege that whiteness affords above all else. And that privilege is a 4-letter word called hate. White folks think it is beautiful to be able to hate the thing that they dislike so much. To exist in a world that does not require you to camouflage your disdain for the ones who slap you in the face with their blood-stained hands. To not have to ingest the poison and swallow the vomit it induces. To have an unbitten tongue and an unseething soul. To summon death and destruction at your displeasure. This is freedom. This is freedom. That is freedom. White folks have freedom. They pushed their way into the Michigan State House, heavily armed, terrorizing other folks. After the armed white mob got into the Michigan State House, they made their way to the chamber doors where they shouted, "Let us in." This is not a protest or peaceful resistance. It was not a protest. It was not peaceful resistance. It was white racist, domestic terrorists, intimidating, threatening, threatening anyone that did not look like them, that do not disagree, that do not agree with them. At the Michigan State House, as multiple armed white boys stormed the building to demand access to the floor, state police had to protect and block their access. It looked like a coup, C-O-U-P. Tell me more about how we don't need gun reform. We need gun reform. This was from a protest on Thursday. Gun-toting white boys rushed into the Michigan State House to demand that Governor Gretchen Whitmer sentence more Michiganders to death by opening up the economy and forcing black folks to get back out there, exposing themselves to the COVID-19 disease. The mob of Open the Economy advocates rallied and stormed the Capitol building as the state legislators weighed whether or not they would rescind Governor Whitmer's stay-at-home orders meant to curb the spread of the COVID-19 disease. I'm sure these folks was intimidated by these racist, white, angry, domestic terrorists. They're white boys standing above us, yelling at us. Some of my colleagues are wearing bulletproof vests because they are threatened by this angry mob of racist white boys. Only white folk could do this. It is not just that the cops would not, it is not just that the cops would shoot the first black person in the head as soon as they crossed the threshold. It is not just that the armed invaders are so willing to offer other people's bodies up for sacrifice in exchange for dining in at Applebee's and checking out at Walmart. It is that they are so unabashedly angry about it that they brought killer machines with them. Only someone with an abundance of entitled privilege would even release such a large amount of white hot hate for such arbitrary and frivolous reasons. These folks, these white folks, gun-toting white folks, angry white folks, hate America. Only they love flags and guns and the ideal of a constitution. But they do not love America. Not even the fantasy land of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They only exist in their dreams. No, these MFs, these mother friggins These mother friggers would never show up to protest that America. They issue their own individual stay-at-home orders when innocent black folks are killed by police, or when brown children are being locked in cages because they could give a fraction of a fuck about the non-white faces in that huddled mass yearning to breathe free. Their idea of democracy is really a dictatorship of whiteness. So they organize the Million Male March for, well, no one really knows. The government isn't taking their guns. No one is forcing them to stay at home. And if you're wondering how I can be so sure about this, here's why. They are out of the house screaming at the police with their guns. It is definitely a white thing. The vast majority of people, regardless of race, isn't cool with an economy, anxiety-induced COVID-19 disease. According to Politico, 73% of whites and 76% of black folks believe America should continue to socially distance for as long as it is needed to curb the spread of COVID-19, even if it means continued damage to the economy, which is why I need help from these white folks. I know most people worried about the house parties in Chicago and the barber shops in Atlanta, but what about Lansing, Michigan? Colin Kaepernick didn't show up at Jay-Z's house with a gun, demanding a spot on a starting roster. So you can't complain about Colin Kaepernick kneeling until you do something about white on white crime. White folks, I know you're not down with this. We need white folks to come get your white men and them, get your white mama and them, get your white sister and them, get your white brother and them. You, white folks, need to unite and work on problems in the outer city, not the inner city, in the outer city. Maybe you could set up an after-school program for overprivileged youth, white youth, or do some community service with people of no color. And what in hillbilly hell is this about? What is it about, my beautiful black brothers and sisters? Is there a pair of preteen Caucasians dressed in an American flag, tutu, and sequined in Daisy Dukes, wearing a Barack Obama mask while tap dancing to a bluegrass banjo parody of Candyman about government intervention. About government intervention. Anyway, white folks, I just wanted to know if you could talk to your fellow white folks who hate this country, or maybe you could just help create a world where black folks don't have to tuck the loathing for their oppressors behind white teeth and a clenched jaw. If I manage to survive your desire to unleash COVID-19 on black America like a rabid dog in a meat factory, perhaps you could teach us how to release the insidious thing that gnaws at our insides without us having to wonder if our unrestrained rage will conjure up a noose or a call to the cops. Black folks are taught that the only path to our freedom is through peace and love, while you get to slit throats and storm castles. Damn, it must be great to be immune from everything, including the golden rule, to be able to do unto others as never have it done unto you, white folks. No, I do not hate white folks. I wouldn't even know what that felt like. Most black folks don't have the luxury of carrying around something corrosive, waiting for us from the inside. Black folks weren't born with that pressure release valve that whiteness affords. But if we did have one, sometimes, perhaps, as about as often as Coco dance, I might hate like somebody, like nobody is watching. No, I would just be free. White folks are free. Black folks are not free. White folks are weaponized. White folks can walk into the Michigan State House, terrorize everyone in there with impunity. There's nothing more dangerous than ignorance and intolerance, armed with weapons and power. I will say that again. There's nothing more dangerous than ignorant, angry, racist white folks filled with intolerance, armed with weapons, money, and power. That's what I have on this one. Please go to thethrasherway.libsyn.com. There you will have access to all that I do. Talk to you again on another one real soon.